Talking with Justin last night, he said he didn't feel prepared for what the USC defense brought. Was just wondering what preparation was like for the Trojan defense this past week.
Well, like we said last week, they had kind of a base deal that they do in every package, and then they have a unique pressure usually or unique coverage that they kind of employ for each individual team. And they didn't do anything drastically that much new in the blitz game, just more and varied. And, Justin, for the most part, handled that pretty well. We had a couple of assignment things up front, or several, assignment things up front. Some of it was assignment. Some of it was just getting beat. And then when that started to happen, then there was a little bit more hesitation, which led to other issues. But for the most part, he specifically handled it pretty well, made a couple big time throws. And that's a great film to learn from going forward.
Last week against Arizona State, you felt like it'd be difficult to run. Did you envision it'd be as difficult this week against USC? And how would you assess, after seeing the film, the way you guys handled their run defense?
Well, again, what's that? That's it. Again, part of that, you got to give them a ton of credit for how they got it done. I don't know if we sat down and wrote down a yardage, goal or anything like that, but we have to be able to run the football. And again, had a couple very basic assignment errors early that then got in our head for a few more drives and got a few things going later on as things progressed. But it just got off to a rough start.
Mark, when you look at some of the guys who are in key positions on both sides of the ball, they're freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or in a lot of cases, quieter guys, soft-spoken guys. Is there kind of a leadership void this year? Is it just one of those years where you don't have a ton of, senior leaders, or how would you describe kind of the leadership on the team?
Yeah, I think, that was something we talked about early on. I think we've talked about that several times of this is just a weird year in terms of natural leaders, vocal, natural leaders that have a lot of credibility. And so we knew coming into this that was something that we had to kind of take hold of as coaches. The guys that were probably the most natural, the most, all those things we talked about aren't they're hurt. And so that's just reality. But that's where we have to augment that and get in and just push things forward and push things through from the coach's standpoint and get the guys, the younger guys, like you're saying, more confident, more involved. Sometimes that's harder for them as they're playing more for the first time and kind of overwhelmed just from a confidence standpoint maybe or a total belief in themselves standpoint, and that'll come.
Talked the last few weeks about the competition between Ugo and Arion at corner. How did you think Ugo played, and what's his development been like over the course of this year? It seemed like he made some big plays out there.
Yeah, he did some good things. Again, we continued to compete pretty well. Just had some opportunities to make some plays, both with the ball in our hands and tackling guys. Just have to wrap. What you get is easier said than done. Have to wrap those guys up and get them on the ground. But took some steps forward. But again, obviously gave up some explosive plays, which is a problem.
How do you feel like your team kind of handled the environmental pressure at the Coliseum? Were you happy with? I know you kind of joked about the speakers and the bringing in the horse and all that.
Yeah, the pressure there is the dudes on the field. As far as the principals involved in the arena. But I think the noise wasn't really a factor in our false starts. It was guys kind of just being unsure for whatever reason, and hopefully that's just an experience, and we'll scratch that off the list of things to improve upon.